Gwen,
Okay.
and maybe a Lee Sin.
Ooh,
But
okay.
then you'd have to do Lee Sin jungle, I think, because I still am not sure if Cryin can play that champion. If they don't take away the Gwen, I am pretty surprised.
All right, well, it's been left up and available. Lee Sin's going to be locked in, folks. Don't worry about that. A little bit of a delay on that. We had this once before in the earlier series, so I think it is just the overlay catching up. And we'll find out, because through this pick and ban, you know, if that Gwen's left open, then yeah, if you're Suning, right, just rinse and repeat, pick it up a Gwen. Oh my god, I didn't do that on purpose, but there you go. RNG will snag it away, which leaves Nocturne if Suning want to snag that themselves.
My big question mark is just who is going to actually use this Lee Sin. Neither Cryin or Wave picked it up. My guess is still Way. Get Way on an early pressure jungler. Maybe try to make more happen in that early game than you did last time around. I think RNG overall should be trying to contest for more priority lanes coming out. The big problem is if Suning just decide to draft that Karma up in mid lane once again, there isn't really anything that can easily contest Wave or push against the Karma. But Suning gonna bring out the Jayce, another bin signature pick. This is something that can deal with that Gwen and laning phase, something that we haven't seen from him really that much this split. He's brought it out one game so far, and it was a loss, but we know this was a favor from him in 2020, and now for Suning, they're hovering over a bunch of different picks. I still wouldn't be surprised if they did just default back to the Karma, but instead bringing out the Lulu.
I mean,
you would expect this to be a support pick down in the bot lane and, you know, bring out a hyper carry AD, but it's not something I want to put past seeing in the mid lane, as we've already had it 8 games this split.
8 games hasn't been super successful, but we know if it does go into the bot lane lyric, we start talking about the Cogmore potential here for Huanfeng. A lot of LPL laners not happy with this pick. It hasn't done well in the region. It's seen less than Jhin, and we've got a lot of Jhin players within the league as well, so it feels like Cogmore's always looked over. So we'll hold on that thought and we'll wait and see which lane it goes into, as RNG, they've already got the support, taking away from on some of those engage potentials that Suning definitely need.
Yeah, so it seems like RNG are also aware that this could possibly be a mid lane pick for the side of Suning, wanting to take away that LeBlanc. Again, I feel like this does leave some question marks open, because Lulu, not a bad matchup at all into the LeBlanc, having the overgrowth later on to deal with all of her all-in potential and just being such a strong laner in terms of trades. Maybe just wanting to take away AP champions that can work well with Lee Sin, because they don't believe either that Cryin will take this into the mid lane.
Yeah, again, so you get the double ban, Cryin on the Twisted Fate, something we've seen quite a lot of, especially with Gwen running in the composition. But I'm surprised, like, Varus made it all the way through when Varus still is that S tier pick in the AD carry role.
Surprisingly, though, it hasn't been something we've seen Gala go towards all that much. He's only had 2 games on it, won one, lost the other. Still very dominant champion. Hopefully does get them that lane priority that we were talking about, having somewhere where you can play through, getting Gala and Ming on more of a strong agency role. And there it is. Lulu does go towards Angel. We get Huanfeng on the Jhin, which is something I'm actually really excited about. And if you're not excited about Huanfeng's Jhin, he was, for my money, the best Jhin player in the world last year. His Jhin was absolutely nuts, finding so many insane ways to utilize the ultimate, find kills, find picks, and open up for the team. You look at their composition, not super high in terms of the damage that it can output though, but to me it looks like Suning want to get it an advantage to the early game. They're once again trying to set up SofM. They tried to get good laning matchups to enable the same way they were able to easily and freely stack objectives like they did last game.
On the other side though, walk me through RNG, because if you're talking about early game role here for Suning, feels like RNG have good scaling and solo lanes. Even in AD carry, you're going to be output damage into a comp that doesn't have a true tank.
Oh, definitely. For RNG, I think their composition is much better in 5v5s than last game. They still should lose out in terms of early prios, so gonna have to find a way to maneuver around that one. Spot out where SofM is, whether he's showing on a lane and you looking to make a play elsewhere, or getting some early vision down. Have Way link up with one of his laners and look for those early kills. You don't expect it to be mid lane, Orianna versus Lulu matchup. I feel like early on isn't that influenceable unless someone is like dramatically overextended. You don't have a ton of damage coming out from your Orianna either. You would tend to like to play towards that bottom lane is what I feel for RNG when you do have that prio coming out from there. But Gwen, always a bit of an X factor. Can try and set her up if SofM is the one who shows on bot wave, but I guess my takeaway from this is that I feel in the first few minutes, Suning will be more of the ones who get to dictate the plays that are being made, to where RNG are going to be more reactionary of, hey, can I go for a counter gank here and look for this 3v3, or do I need to look elsewhere on the map because I'm not confident in playing against these strong early laners coming out from the side of Suning?
Well, I'll be curious to see, because Wei here on the Lee Sin, something that I remember seeing last split, I remember seeing, I think last year as well, wasn't actually his worst champion, but really following in the footsteps of RNG junglers greats. We all remember MLXG's Lee Sin was definitely up there. Cars's Lee Sin as well, let's not forget. Xiaohu's found Bin though. It's an E start for Gwen, as it always is, and it doesn't have that big of a cooldown. Bin might actually have to flash here. Let's see if it's matched, because Xiaohu has his own, and it's flash for flash. Look as well, Ming burnt his flash, and SofM had to use his own.
A bit surprising that Xiaohu was able to find the level 1 trade onto Bin, because it's one of the only times when Gwen is just outright better than Jayce in the laning phase. As Jayce, if you can play off her ranges, you know, kite her out, especially play around her W once you get to like the level 2 and 3 mark, that's where Jayce will really shine. But nice from Xiaohu to be able to take that one away, so at least should be able to not feel too much all-in threat from the Jayce. As Gwen, at least you still have that E to close distance if you do either need to get away or want to look for a good trade.
And we also got to point out that SofM without a flash means that, okay, he still has Audacious Charge, he still has the kit combo that makes the Xin Zhao very good at the moment, but SofM for that extra further follow-up will be denied for another 4.5 minutes. So we get 2 flashes off of Summoner's Rift, and we get a great way to start Game 3, Lyric. We've been talking about the stagnation of Game 1, Game 2. Early game wasn't really much to talk about, or at least in Game 1, it was kind of over with the first couple of kills. But this time around, very different compositions. You mentioned that Suning have to get the ball rolling, and I think it's important to note that we only have AP damage pretty much coming from Angel and the Zhonya's Hourglass that will inevitably go on to on.
Yeah, definitely not that much in terms of damage. You do have like a lot of long-range pokes, so you still have ways to deal with what RNG have put together, but I do think their composition needs to be on the front foot going into the mid game in fights. That's where RNG will start to shine, with Gala having some damage under his belt. Once Xiaohu can pick up the Riftmaker, then Orianna definitely, we know, it doesn't provide anything before she has, you know, 1-2 items coming out on her end. So it's going to be about what Suning can do. We see them controlling the laning phases early on, right? You have pushed down in bot lane. You are doing pretty well in the top side as well. Xiaohu already being forced to use this W to try and avoid some of the poke coming out. And Wei isn't going to have too many opportunities in where he can influence.
Just sitting up in topside clearing for now. Good vision control here from Suning. It lines the enemy jungle and entrance spots where Wei will inevitably walk over, especially if he wants to challenge for this topside scuttle. It is a ward for a ward, so Suning know that he's there, and that gives the information away. And it will be a full clear up towards the Krugs, while SofM, I mean, he's cleared bottom side, most of the top side, left blue. Scuttle's going to go down. And Lyric, I mean, he could be pathing across. Now, no flash, but double Scuttle, pretty much there.
It's same as last game, right? Suning draft these 3 lanes that are able to get pushed, especially now with, you know, bot top. Oh,
no!
Oh, well, okay. That looked like it was going to go so bad for Xiaohu, but in the end, Bin was the one taking turret aggro. Xiaohu getting a bit of a freebie right there. That's going to be a really nice kind of relief for the side of RNG.
Well, maybe if Flash was there, it'd be okay. Bin's TP'd up, but Wave's waiting around the corner. Sonic Wave's going to connect as well. Slowed down Temper's cripple. And after the TP, Bin at half health. Another TP from Angel. Now, he's going to go to the mid lane anyway, but Lyric, that's just not what you want to see as we get the full play in the highlight.
Yeah, let's see what happens here. Starting off, autoing the minions, throws out a Q. Xiaohu kind of baiting this out, not even fully charging up his snip to get that damage off. And then, yeah, he walked back, didn't get in range to hit the auto, and Xiaohu just completely benefits. Xiaohu not even really behind in farm, right? 28-30 right now. You both are sitting on a wave of 3 minions right now. So doing a nice job. Already has the plated steel caps coming out as well. So could have a lot easier of a time surviving this early poke coming out from the Jayce lane.
And that has multiple uses, right? Already mentioned before that, you know, they have range to deal with RNG's comp, but again, that AD threat is going to be huge from Xin Zhao, from Jayce, from the Jhin. Plated steel caps this game for a lot of the members of RNG are going to pay dividends. So I feel like at this point, for the Gwen, sitting there with the defensive items first, And keeping up a CS, as you also mentioned, is just such a great start when we watched Gwen from Bin absolutely dominate. And an early lead on Gwen can only mean one thing. So for RNG, small gold lead here at the start of game number 3. And Wei coming up top quite a bit now, Lyric, making sure he's got his presence known.
Yeah, let's see if you can find this.
Spotted.
Bin playing a little bit back, so wouldn't get caught out anyway. I think he probably would have been fine. But yeah, Bin just showing the emote. Wei not able to do anything. It comes down to what we hit on earlier about not having the same pryos available. I do like some of their 2v2s and 3v3s more later on, just because you do have that mixed damage coming out, and you do have some CC setup.
Yep.
It's still very skill shot reliant, but for the side of Suning, it's not any easier, as
like
Cryin and Wei now want to punish this.
Shockwave is available. SofM has his flash up again once more. Shockwave as he re-engages in, wants the Grom. Is it on a cooldown or not? I'm not too sure, but SofM, yes it is. There we go. Away he runs, but dissonance movement speed, flash away from Wei. And Xiaohu gets it, Lyric. He ran past the turret, and now he's 2-0.
And I feel like RNG are happier about that one. You'd rather have your Gwen pick up that kill than the Lee Sin. Get him even more ahead in this matchup. A matchup where he should have been taking early punishment, and he was. He was taking punishment in those first few waves in the laning phase, and been giving it over with that, we'll say dive, but it doesn't really look like it was meant to be a dive coming out from Bin. And now getting the second kill, definitely going to be pretty close to his leeching Leer, if not already on it.
Well, as soon as he goes back, we'll find out, right? Now has level 6 as well. Remember, it is Jayce. 6 doesn't really mean too much there, so you feel like you've got a lot more pressure here up in this top side, and Wei has constantly been hovering here, Lyric. Look at Bin. Now dealing with Xiaohu, it's a pretty much even trade, and when that leeching lead does come up, there's going to be more sustain as Needlework has come on out. The third proc at the ready to flash away. And Xiaohu burns his summoner without burning his own.
Now, really nice from Xiaohu. Suning trying to answer on the opposite side of the map, though. They have pushed in mid and bot. They're trying to set SofM to steal this blue buff.
Sonic Wave does connect. Wei's going in once again. Dodges the center play. Xiaohu solo kills. Top side, forget that. Meanwhile, down the bottom lane, RNG actually losing this one with SofM taking the wild growth. The curtain call will tag Gala, but it doesn't matter. A 1-for-1 trade across the map, but Xiaohu is the winner.
It's going to be really interesting to see this dynamic come out, right? Where you're going to have the top side of RNG be the force to be reckoned with compared to this bottom lane coming out for Suning. Huanfeng actually being the one to pick up the kill, even ahead in farm, pushes in the wave, denies more farm from Gala. We do have Rift Herald coming up right now, and it looks like RNG are making their way over there. No teleport on Xiaohu, though, so you actually have more members on the map and top side for Suning right now, as we see an E just come straight into an auto, and then just kind of 2 stacks of snip into the Q. So he already got the winning part of the trade, right, from what we saw in top lane earlier on when he utilized his ulti to force out the flash from Bin and got him down to 30% HP.
Yep. So Suning are actually contesting this one. Xiaohu's back in. Leeching Leer blasting one, but need to work on a 20-second cooldown. Ming starting to gauge anyway. Hallowing Mist down, and Deadly Flourish doesn't connect. Hitting on for the time being. Watch Xiaohu still at full health as Huanfeng is coming in melee range. But Herald's already gone. Suning have taken care of that one, and On survives too. So a win for Suning, nevertheless.
And RNG know they can't look for anything, right? No needlework up, and their AD carry has shown on the fight. Your AD carry is still in the bottom side. Now Gala going to try and push this into turret before Huanfeng can respond. It is a cannon wave, though, so shouldn't be too much of a loss for him. Gala, I don't know if he'll be able to get a plate. Nope, looks like he is going to respect the presence of Suning on the bottom side. And now for RNG, I think you just keep playing around your top laner. For Suning, you probably start pathing down towards spot, make your way to getting a Drake early with the prio that you have. Look for more skirmishes like we saw in the last fight where you can utilize that wild growth on SofM. You can have the curtain call to set things up for with Huanfeng.
Quick dodge there on the top lane. SofM nearby. Wei is all the way back into lane. Honestly, folks, just for our English audience, it is really hard as a caster to talk about the way in for this jungler. It doesn't matter what you say, you're always going to walk over this word. It's just kind of the everyday struggles of casting RNG's jungler. But kind of back on topic here, Lyric, I want to reiterate the win conditions again, since we've had an early game that has been, set up by RNG through some mistakes, especially in that top lane, that you did talk to me about a bit of a timer here for Suning. You also mentioned the range, which can change the way we talk a little bit about scaling, but with Suning's composition, is it right to say that we need to see this start rolling and SofM needs to pedal to the metal?
I don't think it's like that dire, right? It's not some like drastic comp where we see something like maybe a Renekton and another Bruiser or a Jhin coming out. You still do have ways to fight later on, but like you're saying, a lot of it's coming off how you can utilize range advantage. RNG are definitely favored. I think if this game gets to a point, especially where Orianna becomes relevant in this game, it is quite hard for Suning to win. You're really relying off playing around Bin, maybe able to hit an accelerated shock blast on a Gala, chunk him out low, and find some sort of pick, but there will still be windows there. I think killing Gwen is going to be the hardest thing with how far accelerated she is getting. You don't have the consistent DPS as Bin.
He's just flashed over. Down. Kick into the wall. Tempest, cripple, Bin, who does he want to die to? Well, even with the wild growth, actually goes over to Wei at the end of the day, and I think Xiaohu would have preferred it, but doesn't matter. He's already got enough resources as he jumps back in on top of Angel. The Gwen gap closing, doesn't really care that now SofM is here. Cryin's run on in, and he actually jumps on top of Xiaohu. Shockwave as well, won't save the day. And Xiaohu, a little bit deep there, had flash, but didn't want to burn it, thought he was already dead.
Yeah, 1 for 1 in the end. No one even going to be able to pick up this plate gold coming out that someone from RNG would have been able to get, but RNG still being the team with a gold lead. I love how both teams have completely ignored this first Drake. Suning didn't care about it when their lane had prio early on. They've actually still done a pretty good job at keeping this here, and RNG never trying to pivot towards that, which makes sense for them, right? When you're the team that has the top laner that's taken 4 plates up in top side, your top laner's 3-1, you would just want to nail down and hammer all in on that advantage.
Again, we've just been watching RNG play towards the top side. That's what the play was about there from Wei. He gets himself the Scuttle Crab as well. That'll help, but SofM's going to corner him off. Hits him with the W. Audacious charge at the ready. Wei doesn't have his flash, but Orianna's coming in to save the day. There's no Shockwave available, so there's still follow-up here, and Wei caught out doing the Scuttle, while Suning were able to be on the map faster.
And Lulu Xin Zhao does have that strong early game potency that we were hitting on. Xin Zhao especially so strong. You have all the shields and buffs coming out from your Lulu. Suning looked like they were going to finally start up this Drake, kind of hovering over. SofM seems like he's thinking about wanting to put down the Herald or not, or maybe thinking, hey, are RNG going to come contest? Because if you look at the minimap, no one is actually showing on bottom wave for the side of RNG.
True.
Wei isn't alive, though, so I'm not quite sure why that would have to be in your minds at all. They are going to get Angel some plate gold and pick up this Dragon at the same time.
Okay, Ocean Dragon at 12 minutes. Again, late soul coming through in this game. Suning do close out some of the gold gap as well with that pick and the pick before on Xiaohu, who went deep for the dive. But we have to remember that for RNG, once again, topside scuttles there, a bit of vision control as well. Xiaohu's comfortable here. He's still 10 CS ahead and will be about 20 CS ahead. And first turret under the plating. Like, 14 minutes hasn't even come yet. Look at Xiaohu snip away. This turret is not long for the world.
Nope. And I mean, the fact that he does already have that Rift Maker to where Bin still doesn't have his Mythic is pretty telling for the matchup, right? Bin knowing he doesn't have any opportunities to look for that without the clips being picked up.
Yep.
And now we're going to get to see how Xiaohu can start influencing the map. Is going to get some deep vision down in the enemy jungle. Doesn't look like he wants to go for anything just yet. Just going to continuously push in these waves. The next objective you're going to be contesting is Rift Herald, so it does make sense for Xiaohu to just keep forcing this in, keep up prio, keep vision going, and then try to be the team that can secure that objective this time around, because last time RNG were not even in position to contest because Suning brought up their bot lane and RNG didn't.
And SofM's just playing aggressive thanks to the fact that mid's been pretty fine as well. I mean, Cryin has a CS lead, but SofM maybe hold that thought. I was just talking about him, but with the depth charge in, okay, SofM going to be given to Cryin. You're not going to kill your mid laner. She's at full health, so Cryin gets the kill, and Lyric, I mean, that was not good timing to talk about the jungler.
No, it was not. Just SofM getting punished. Nice angle found by Wei to get in there and find that kick into his team.
Oh.
Gala, though, is 100% dead.
Oh, well, Chains of Corruption, let's find out. He's like, who do I die to? Prowler's Claw, and whew, yeah, Bin's going to get the kill. Okay, we knew it. 1 for 1 across the rift. What's happening mid, though? There's a dive coming through on top of Cryin, who burnt the Shockwave before. Huanfeng with the Gale Force rides alongside on as Herald's going to be done in the meantime. RNG can't save the mid laner.
As the most criticized part of Suning, right, it's nice to see their bot lane having good moments. It's glad that On's going in, setting up these opportunities for Huanfeng to completely shine. Having that Gale Force, really easy for him to find the burst to go in, as we do get a replay on the bottom of our screen. Flash into the ultimate, set up with the W from Jhin, and then Gale Force in. You're able to get all that damage down, and really well played from the side of Suning.
Yeah, good to see that Huanfeng now has a bit of a lead as well. When this game was in such a bad standing due to the top lane, Suning have recovered it quite a lot, and I like that you bring up a lot about the Lulu Xin Zhao combination, because even though SofM went down there, it feels like Angel and SofM still have quite a lot of momentum under their back. SofM has been up in CS for the majority of the game. He has been really on top of these jungle cliffs, as we know he's all about. But more importantly, Angel has been linking up with him a little bit more than usual, which is about, what, 10%, 15%? So it is nice to see some kind of linking between the mid laner and SofM.
Yeah, it's always nice to see. Suning, though, gonna keep this kind of team presence strong, right? And make their way towards bot side. They're getting dove.
Okay, it's a response TP, though. That's not Xiaohu. He's got it back and at least come down. Cryin makes himself known, and Xiaohu cancels his back. Look at where everyone is. Bin doesn't have TP. Angel used his. Lyric, that topside inner turret, that's probably dead.
Yeah, but Suning have the fast track towards the mid lane, so they're trying to zone them off so they can push in this turret. So ultimately, potentially could be a 1-for-1 trade. Xiaohu's still going untouched. Bin still hasn't finished off his recall. I don't think Suning can push this one in. RNG are able to answer in time, but with Xiaohu backing off the top lane, there isn't going to be any turrets going down.
So, inner turret, I was wrong, but at the end of the day, you look at that HP bar, Xiaohu annihilated it. Was able to deny a couple of waves of CS as well, from my understanding. Cosmic Drive picked up just like that. Quite a big deal. And so Xiaohu, yet again, still ahead of the curve. We can't see gold at the moment, but I'm telling you right now, it is at least 1,500 ahead of Bin.
Definitely, like, so far ahead, right? We're only 2 long swords for Bin right now on top of the tier that he's had for a while. Looks like he might be able to do back and pick something up, but considering he just came off a back as well, you know he's not sitting on too much gold, only upgrading to that Caulfield's Warhammer. Dragon up in 20 seconds. Both teams trying to fight over mid-prio right now. RNG are the ones with first track in the river. For Suning, in my mind, we're still looking at that combo of how Angel can use that wild growth with SofM and On being the aggressors, right? Bin throwing out the poke in the back line, and the curtain call gonna come out from Huanfeng if you can find your way onto a key target. Gwen, though, very good at dealing with all of that, right? Curtain call comes out, you just open up with your W, you're pretty much just chilling through everything. So in the end, with Suning not having control of river, not going to be able to get off that poke as RNG do walk in, they're just going to decide to give this one up. And this is what we were hitting on earlier in game 1, of wanting to see Suning not just give up objectives, posture in front of the enemy team, and lose everything. They move towards topside, they're going to steal away jungle camps, get vision, and get some damage down on this topside turret.
They do lose mid, they do lose bot though, so there is, you'd arguably say, a better trade here for RNG on maybe looking for an engage. And mid lane turret not going down. I'm going to hold my thought there, Lyric, because it's only bottom that Xiaohu acquires. RNG's response is towards vision. There is a flash away from Gala. Too far forward. Chains of Corruption, the re-engage from Ming. The shockwave is 2-man, but Gala and Min set packing underneath the turret. Now that Way's here, it changes as the wild growth finally comes through. The needlework as well, but Xiaohu, you have no mana. And so the follow-up stops there.
And it's kind of a funny dynamic, where for RNG, you really don't have much burst at this point in the game. You have Gala, and then you have the ultimate coming out from Way, but Cryin and Xiaohu not really outputting that kind of damage just yet. Where for Suning, you pretty much only have burst coming out. So that first punch hits really hard, but then after that, you're not able to follow up and keep the fight going. So we saw that dynamic at work in the mid lane. Both teams are going to get out scot-free, and yeah, the state of the game stays the same. I think earlier we compared the series to a library, and yeah, it's keeping that energy going strong.
You know, in the library, you meet eyes with someone who else is reading the book. You're sitting there, you're reading, what are we reading? Something about stonks, or maybe we're just reading Lord of the Rings. And there she is across the way, and she's also reading Lord of the Rings. And your eyes meet, and you know you're at the same part. You know that you're in the Two Towers, right? You know, Saruman's been, he's kind of been kicked away. Because Saruman's, he's a bad person, guys. I don't want to spoil it for you, but bit of a loser. And when your eyes meet, that's when it all bursts into action. So I don't know what libraries you guys have been to, but that's what I feel like for this game number 3.
I'm just gonna say,
someone's gonna talk
libraries
first.
in Australia sound pretty banging.
Well,
just throwing that out there.
Well, yeah. I don't know. Never been to a library in Australia, I don't think. Actually, no, I've been to one. You know, this is where you come in and say libraries are for nerds. But I don't believe that. All right, folks. It's 10 kills. It's 20 minutes. You know, I've lost myself tonight. I lost myself at top esports EDG. I came into this series, and when I saw SofM support, I just had a lull. It was just great. And now we're in a game 3, which is actually pretty competitive. I mean, gold's kind of even. We've slowed down for the time being, but Suiting making the play. Look at this.
Oh, way?
Even on a ward, though.
Oh, wait. He's
on
in between 2 control wards. Actually, nothing can happen in that situation, but Xiaohu going to keep up the pressure in the bottom side of the map. Knows he wins in the 1v1, trying to pull Bin away from the team. Shouldn't be able to get too much done. Oh, he's going to go for the 1v1, though.
Okay, but he's bopped back at SofM's here. Oh, no. The flash immediately. Needlework healing him up, getting the maximum stacks. He's still got it, but he misses the final ulti. Flashes there, but doesn't want to burn it. If Xiaohu hit that, a bit more healing, and maybe it turns the tides.
Yeah, sadly not able to. Doesn't even have the Zhonya's Hourglass yet. That could have been a tool to buy him some more time. Maybe wait for some more cooldowns to come up. But at the end of the day, that is not what happened. Not the same performance Bin had last time around. Though I feel like in last game, RNG definitely helped him out a little bit with that one. So RNG not really going to be in a position where they can punish too much in terms of like top side with Suiting making that play. Suiting going to be the ones to answer. Going to be able to get that kill, going to be able to get this bottom lane turret, but at least in terms of map control, you look at your mini-map, and it is littered with wards from RNG. Actually, littered with wards from both sides, as Cryin's looking for the flame.
Okay, well, it's not Alcove Gaming, but he's half health. Shockwave's there. Way's nowhere nearby. Oh, Cryine's dead? Of course he is. What? TP at half health against the Jayce. What do you think's going to happen? What? You're up, Lyric. Explain that.
I just have no words. What is there to explain? He TP's in, like, you could see what he's envisioning. Like, okay, I TP in. I'm going to link up with Way. I'm going to go for the Shockwave. Way's going to be here, and we're going to kill him. But, yeah, getting a little bit ahead of himself on that one. You highlighted half HP, and he's dead. So
what are you doing?
Another day in the office for the mid laner of RNG.
It's a 2-item Jayce. He was 2 and 3 at the time. He has serrated. He's got lethality, and you're an Orianna rocking a Luden's Tempest. Yeah, just a massive question mark. Hoping Way was a little bit closer, but literally crying after that one. As for RNG, I'm surprised they still got the vision control they have after losing the play, but of course Way was walking down, and RNG now back on top of the Dragon. This will make Dragon number 2 for them.
You remember how at the start of the day we said that RNG have not been playing like a 1 in 14? I feel like it's kind of retracted as Hysterics. We have a team fight going.
Well, it stopped immediately.
Actually,
Shockwave, hang on. Depth charge. That's a lot used on SofM, and he's taken no damage. Yeah, I'd put the thumbs up too, because now you have nothing, and Suiting have a Baron that they can threaten.
Ooh, and he's going full tank Zhao with this build.
He is.
Sitting on the Frostfire Gauntlet, already Spectre Cal and a Warden's Mail as well. So they're not dishing out any damage to him anytime soon. Definitely none from Gala. Gala's not going to be able to hit hard. We're still very far from a point where even Cryin can influence this game, trying to make his way towards that Archangel staff. You probably even want to get one item on top of that before you're going to be able to do anything. Probably going to go for a defensive item third, something along the lines of the Zhonya's would be my guess.
Okay, we'll see how he goes. At least for Suiting now pushing deep. This is Baron territory, Lyric. Cryin, he has his flash available, and note that the Shockwave will almost be there. Another key tool that we talk about, because you've mentioned that RNG's team fighting is a big deal, right? Giving space for Gwen, Shockwave as well, Gala getting Chains of Corruption locked down. In different ways, these teams, how they function in the upcoming potential fight.
You know what's weird is we actually still have not seen one 5v5 yet this game, though, right? Not one. But almost every time, Suiting have done either a good job of finding the pick first, getting members of RNG low enough to where they can't find the fight, or Suiting have been able to like disengage from a fight, get some of that damage down, open up a curtain call, or SofM would do so much, and then the wild growth from Lulu comes in, stops the advance. So it's been a very interesting game in that sense, especially, once again, comparing it to the first 2 games. Ming just goes in.
Yeah, he just flashes over the wall. You wanted a 5v5 lyric, you got a. Shockwave is already out, or rather, Chains of Corruption is into the backline. Sonic Wave's there as Huanfeng is nailing down. Ming's gonna get hit. Shield through. SofM following up. Remember, he takes no damage as Xiaohu is set packing. The whirling miss right in the middle of it all. But now that it's down, Xiaohu exposed. Shockwave will help him out as the Needlework's doing it again. But Bin says, I know this trick. Wei is gonna be polymorphed, and Lyric, RNG, really wanted to fight so badly, but Suiting didn't mind it.
I mean, right, we just saw RNG really try hard to force someone. Ming gets bursted out immediately. We saw Cryin's ult getting close to a point where it's dealing relevant damage, but still not dealing that much to the frontliners of the side of Suiting. Wei not even able to find a way into that fight, so...
Here they come.
For RNG, definitely not what they wanted, and I mean, I don't think Cryin and Wei can outplay this. Wei does have Smite, but Bin and Angel doing a great job.
There's a lot of shielding here. There's Wild Growth, and Wei's actually just baited in over the wall. SofM doesn't even care. Forget the Smite. He doesn't care. It's secured anyway, and SofM taking damage from Cryin. He'll re-engage, not taking too much himself. Ming actually gets the kill. I'll take that back. There's TP in the back line. Another one responded by Suiting. This is without a doubt a really fun game to watch. Xiaohu stuck in the wall on top of Angel though. He's ready to snip as Needlework number 1, Needlework number 2, number 3 as well, but he's dead. Not looking too OP when the lethality Jayce is hammering away as RNG keep channeling into this choke, but Lyric, I think they're gonna all die. Ming's first, Cryin's next, he's stunned up, Bin dies, Huanfeng dying to Gala, TP again, Gala's doing it, Angel's now in, never mind, triple kill over to RNG's AD.
I was gonna say, I feel like when you said they're all gonna die, I mean, you're on the same page that it'd probably be all RNG, but Gala actually able to completely turn it around as the team of Suiting just all ins onto Cryin. And yeah, that actually hurts. We're at a pretty good point for Gala. You expect something like the Serpent's Fang probably wants to come out to deal with that Lulu. As we're gonna get a replay, not sure what it's gonna be of, it's actually gonna be on the last sequence of events. Xiaohu trying to jump over, does get locked down by On. Immediately goes onto Angel, but man, so much burst coming out from the side of Suiting. Bin especially just doing a ton of work. And this is where it looked really dire for Suiting because, right, Cryin Shockwave still not at a point where it's hitting that hard. It's about 20% HP to Huanfeng. And then for Gala, just turns around, hits a really nice ultimate, chains it with the E right into a Q, and just instantly takes out 2 members from the side of Suiting.
And even though he did well in the fight and cleans up the rest, let's just remember that Angel still has the Baron buff for what it's worth. It is a negative power play though. 1400 in the top right-hand corner of your screen, which I absolutely love. And the game keeps them rolling. Have we seen a positive Baron power play yet?
In
this series? Or at least today? Because top esports EDG, there were 2 negative Baron power plays.
Yes.
In the same game.
I mean, heck, we actually might have had a positive Baron power play in this series, but we definitely did it in the first one.
No, the first one we didn't. We have in this one, I feel like game number 1 for RNG, of course, and they're smacking them down. But this time around, Suiting trying to catch up and get some of the gold, use the rest of the Baron for 45 seconds. They get the mid lane turret, they move back into a gold lead, but again, we have to watch someone like Gala after the last play. Serraldo's Grudge now picked up as well, so he'll start shredding through even SofM. And he's going to be nailing down some of the backline if he can get towards the likes of Huanfeng and Angel as well. Suiting though, they're all the way back in the river. Dragon's going to be taken. That's 2 dragons apiece here, 28 minutes.
Yeah, and you know, RNG not going to contest. They're going to go for their same shenanigans of being able to pick up topside turret. It does also give them a place where they have vision down. They can spot Suiting out on the map. We're probably going to devolve into a point where we are waiting for Baron to come back up before we get any sort of action. Suiting still having a bit of time on their Baron. It's actually 5 seconds, not enough to really do anything relevant on the map.
Yep.
And Cryin feeling like he has to be the big damage dealer, the big carry that we set him up to be, actually making his way towards the Void Staff. Especially when you take a look at the fact that, you know, how SofM has itemized, picking up that Spirit Visage. And for a lot of these fights, as Cryin and the squad of RNG, you're pretty much only going to be hitting frontline. It definitely makes sense.
It does, and I think that the fact that Cryin so far, those shockwaves have started to create some damage in the fights. You can see the potential of what they're going to do if he's able to pick up the Void Staff as well. But for RNG, I mean, I thought this game was going to be all about Xiaohu. It's really changed. And even though Xiaohu will scale and he'll have a demonic embrace 4th by the looks of it, at the moment, he's quite stagnant in comparison to Bin, who has come back into this game in a big way. And I love the Serpent's Fang against an Orianna, against a Nautilus, a Lee Sin. Like, it makes a lot of sense as a pickup here that's going to shred down some of these shields.
Oh, definitely. And we've already been seeing it do a bit of work. So, great purchase coming out from Bin. Huanfeng also getting himself up to being a pretty scary AD carry, sitting on the LDR, Gale Force, and the Rapid Fire Cannon. As Suning wanting to punish RNG, but nothing going to happen. And this is going to be the state of the game, guys. We are going to be ping-ponging waves in sides. Suning will have pressure with wherever Bin is. He's feeling pretty good in that solo lane matchup right now. I like that they have him on the side of the map, as well as where Suning is getting deep vision, so he can safely push up. They're going to try and crash bot wave in, get some damage down on that turret, pivot back to mid when mid wave does come up. It is on its way now, and we do have 2 waves that you're playing with to try to play around this bot lane structure.
All right, Xiaohu's just going to walk in, try and clear some vision. For the meantime, fun fact, or at least a quiz, Lyric. I don't know if you're aware. SofM has been playing since 2012 in the GPL at the time. I just want people to know that this guy is approaching his 10th year of competitive League of Legends, and he's only made it to Worlds once, which is kind of insane. Just a highlight on the player on your screen. He was in Snake for a hella long time alongside Flandre when it became LNG there for a year as well, and then finally swapped over to Suning. So, not really any relevance to this game, but I just want people to know that I think he's been playing competitive League of Legends since like 14. Like 13, 14.
Here's a quiz for you, as actually never mind, because Xiaohu is going to get punished.
You reckon he'll die though? That's
2
the
members
question.
here.
He's CPing away.
Nope, he's fine.
Control ward. Oh no!
Oh, he's not fine!
Crescent guard, now he needs help. And again, I don't want to say it. Freak will probably do it for me, but you do have no mana. Angel's here to help out. Bye. Xiaohu's dead once again. Woof. Close, but
That's
still dead.
Just crazy. That is crazy how close that was actually able to be in the end for Xiaohu. Now for Suning, you know what they're going to do, right? They're going to start posturing for this Baron. You can try to force a fight. I feel like Xiaohu was the scariest member from the side of RNG at that point in time. You even have good turn potential coming out from your Leona. Doesn't have the solar flare anymore, so you're going to have to rely on either an E or like a flash stun combination coming through.
Here we go.
But Suning still want the fight.
All right, Baron at 5k. Now for RNG, look towards Wei, who doesn't have a level lead, but still, Smite's going to be big. Coming through Sonic Wave and helping with the execute. When does he fly on in? He goes in early and he gets it! Out he goes as well. Shockwave for the disengage. Suning, hand between heads, head between hands, whatever. Their head is down.
I mean, that is a true 50-50 though, right? If you're not able to keep them out of the pit, it's nothing to do with SofM's ability to smite. You are literally competing with a shockwave and a smite coming out from Wei. So it really is just going to be a toss-up of like who can get it or where you can get it. If RNG can coordinate better of like, hey, you know, at this timing we're going to smite plus shockwave, you actually do have a better chance of getting it. But let's get in depth in the replay and see how it does go through. Chunking it out right now. No one on the opposite side able to zone. You really don't even have a good person who can do that on its way now. And yeah, just able to secure it with the smite. I actually think the shockwave came out a bit afterwards.
Oh, SofM might be dead here, even with wild growth. Look at the follow-up. Crescent guard used again. Ming flashes forward, but Dredgeline's dodge away. SofM being so cheeky with the emotes this game. I can confirm he was 14 when he started playing League of Legends, and SofM here today as a 23-year-old Lyric is able to survive. But Dragon's coming up. This will be soul point for RNG for yet another Cloud Soul in this series.
Yeah, RNG definitely going to be able to get this one. Surprise, Suning not even wanting to posture for any sort of contest. They're just going to try and get control of mid-wave, push that one in, and Ming chunked incredibly low.
Yeah, a little bit of danger here, backing away. Doesn't have to Zonyas if he gets caught out, but Stopwatch is available. Xiaohu in the bottom lane is going to be pushing out. And RNG, they had the Baron, but they haven't really done much with it. Got about a minute 20 to utilize it to its fullest. And the way Suning are, I mean, seems like this Baron is just to mitigate the fact that Suning probably should have had the Baron or should have been able to turn on the 50-50.
I mean, yeah, definitely bringing it to the 50-50. They didn't even have the angle to turn, though, right? They were hoping that RNG would come contest through river. RNG smartly just like, hey, we don't need to walk the river. We're just going to contest over wall. You don't have a great way of following up. You potentially can have On try to Zenith Blade over in that situation and try to lock down Wei, but then you're still competing with the shockwave coming out from Cryin from the fact that you don't have the ultimate on Leona.
Watching Xiaohu now with 4 items, by the way. Demonic Embrace there. You're just speaking about Cryin. I mean, that needlessly large rod going to bump up the mana already onto the Void Staff. Serpent's Fang now picked up by Gala as well. Baron is adding a lot of pressure through mid. Side lanes building up in the top side especially, and Xiaohu doesn't want to split, wants to be with the rest of the team. Level 18 now as well, and I think it's important to note that there's still a lot of poke damage coming through from Suning as Chains Corruption missed Soul Flare onto 2 members. That's big. Gala has to flash and cleanse immediately to the back of the fight, but they haven't got any follow-up damage. Huanfeng sends out the curtain call. Ming slowed down, but RNG still have Shockwave, still have Xiaohu's ulti and depth charge. They can go again.
Yeah, and they still have all the poke coming out from Gala to be able to take this turret. You would think it has to be RNGs at this point.
Going
Using
in
a teleport as well.
Ulti's used. TP is Xiaohu to help get the inner turret. As he returns, though, Xiaohu's just going to be out. And, okay, exciting TP, but it ends there. Good block.
And we're going to see Suning just threaten because they do hit that accelerated shock blast onto Cryin. And we are at that loved 35-minute territory where it's just going to be all about constant grouping and 5v5s.
Yay. Or picks like this. Okay, never mind. Wei doesn't have the kick available. Chains of Corruption used. Wild Growth as well. SofM getting poked down. He's just dead. He runs on in to his death. And Suning now 4 members on Summoner's Rift.
And now for RNG, you're finally at a point where you can feel the Orianna's actually part of the game. It might have taken 35 minutes, but hey, we're here, and that's all that matters. Even now, Gala at a pretty good point in terms of items, having the armor penetration coming out from the Rebel's Grudge. He's finally been able to get that Serpent's Fang as well to deal with the shields coming out from both Lulu and Leona. So feels like from what we're seeing from these sieges coming out from RNG, that they're finally in a good place damage profile-wise, where they're able to take fights toe-to-toe with Suning without just lacking the damage to be able to kill a frontliner like SofM on this full tank Zhao.
And Cryin will only get stronger as well, right? That could be a Rabadon's coming through. Darksteel has 5 stacks and might be sold here if Cryan's not able to get himself any more. But Lyric, I hate to say it, feels like we might just be farming for the next minute 45 till Dragon comes up, as Bin was the one caught out, or at least he thought he was, and then SofM jumps in.
Yeah, and then not able to find a good angle into the fight. On was actually coming from way in the back, so not able to join SofM and be his dive buddy and try to create a bit of chaos. Gave RNG the room to be able to just burst out SofM, who now also having that Randuin's Omen, going to be extremely annoying to deal with for both Gala and Wei. As you're right, we are, right now it's all about controlling topside river. We're going to wait for Baron to come up. We're going to see if RNG can bait Suning into finding a pick, or if Wei can find a crazy flank angle, which the answer will be no, because you look at the minimap, and Suning actually have a ton of vision absolutely everywhere.
SofM angling again. I like that you talk about their vision. I think Suning have been really good with defensive vision in this game, where, you know, we know that Xiaohu was always big towards the top side, but Suning setting a line down as Ming's caught out. They're going in all the way onto the support, but the depth charge will layer up Bin. Actually deflected in the end there as well. Bit of poke damage on the return, but once again, that's like the 4th, 5th time we've seen ultis go out and nothing happens.
I feel like we've seen that from both teams, though. Yeah, that was
okay.
That was a bit of a crying moment once again. But we've seen it from both sides, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know what that was.
Huanfeng looking to posture aggressively.
Okay. 15 seconds though, Lyric. We're gonna get a Cloud Soul and we're gonna get a fight. It's 24 kills in 38 minutes. I don't care though. I want to see blood. The blood god demands it. And Suning are on Dragon and RNG. They want mid priority instead. They say forget it.
Yeah, RNG gonna push mid. You assume they're gonna try and take vision control up top side and try to like threaten for a Baron or something along those lines. Probably gonna try and force it a fight. I don't think you can just instantly heal. Yeah, it is warded. Suning knows.
But who's got a lens? who's got a lens? I mean, there's a lot of vision here that shouldn't be here. I mean, control would put down as well. Ming just walking back. What are we doing? What are we doing, Lyric?
Look, Hysterics. What we're doing is both teams are hoping for, you know, one member to overstep or misposition for them to look for the angle. The fact that Suning got control of mid wave is actually super good because they're able to get all this damage down onto mid turret. RNG might be forced into an engage, but we are still not at that point.
It's like watching LCS. I mean, I don't. Sometimes, Lyric, I just don't know. Suiting. Oh, today's been fun, huh? What do you reckon? Today's been pretty fun. To anyone who's tuning in for the first time, I promise you, you need to go back and look at top esports EDG. Even game 1 RNG slamming, right? Okay, good. Forget that. Don't slam back now. RNG is starting Baron. Let's do it.
Okay, but SofM's gonna be here though, and they bail Hysterics. They take off. They don't want any of that fire coming out from SofM.
It was a prank. Okay. Well, I don't feel like it's 24 kills in 40 minutes, honestly. Let's see what happens next, hey? Sooning, they're getting vision, and people, you know, about to fall asleep. But I guarantee you that this Orianna is going to get a huge shockwave. And then we're going to all think about the flowers moment, a legendary moment. I think that's my favorite play of all time, honestly. We're obviously showing Orianna runes because of the scaling coming through, but...
He's done it. He's got it.
Well, Rabadon's picked up. Cool. But, all serious?
Okay.
All
seriousness, eyes will be on Ming and Cryin. Ming are way for the engage, set up the ultimate from Cryin, and then Cryin to press the button.
All right, Baron's just going down. Someone needs to get there. It's taken by Bin. And just like that, RNG go, do we want to fight afterwards? SofM tags. And that's it. Baron means this game could go on for quite a bit. A lot of damage on the way. A lot of damage on the Huanfeng as well.
Because of Gore Drinker and Hysterics, so it's not too big of a deal. But still, being chunked out to 60% HP is never a good thing.
We're A-ramming again. Okay. We're just going to poke each other and that's it. Oh, jeez.
So what we're doing is we're having a gentleman's agreement that this is actually a battle between Bin and Gala to see who can do more damage. I think so far Bin is winning.
Oh, Xiaohu flank. Shirelius? Chains Corruption? Yes! SofM's doing something. But he's going to flash away. So Gala with no summoner and Suiting actually have inside track. So this is where we move on from ARAM.
They kited it out, Hysterics. They kited it out.
And they're going to get inhibitor turret. But can Suiting go further? Huanfeng stepping up. Wei's on a flank. RNG are going to defend the inhibitor. Jesus Christ. Wow, that's a lot of damage from Bin. But Cryin will be able to back away. And Wei's going for the deepest flank I've seen.
And you know, one good thing is, earlier we were talking about, when you were asking me in terms of scaling, right? We were talking about, like, yeah, RNG is like straight up 5v5 should be better, but for Suiting, it's about how they like utilize like their range and things like this. And Suiting are actually doing a really good job of that right now. Suiting doing a great job of getting off a ton of damage before a fight starts. The fact that Cryin was chunked so low right there. Cryin, I don't know if will actually ever be in position to find some kind of massive shockwave unless he like flashes forward, puts himself in a position where he's probably 90% gonna die and just trying to make a hero moment. So this one is a bit tough for Royal Never Give Up. 43 minutes in. I'm wondering how long we could go.
Oh,
I know there's been a list of like the longest games. The two off the top of my head is I know there's that one Jhin game. I think it's Jhin SKT. And then there's that super old complexity game in NALCS, which I remember watching live.
Oh, really?
Good times. I remember there was a Ziggs in it. Yeah, like Prawley, Robert X. Lee, all those guys.
Holy
Bubba Dove,
crap,
I think.
you're old. Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, you've been around the scene for a little bit while, haven't you? Because did you coach in North America or not?
Nope. Okay.
But I know, hang on, Cryin caught out, flashes over the wall. Nice from Suiting. It does feel like Suiting are controlled in this game. But you coached LMS, I know that. You're a big deal.
Many years, LMS. Fofo destroyed me many times, but I also beat him in best of fives. But hey, we're getting teams posturing around a dragon.
Let's do it.
We're not going to talk about us. We're going to talk about this. I feel like the poke is just too much for RG to deal with.
And they just don't know what to do. I mean, flash over the wall from Wei. He won't have that to contest, and SofM just doesn't take any damage. Crescent Guard out once again. Ming starts off the engage. Here's the curtain call. Into Xiaohu for the time being. He presses W, but even Ming's not tanky enough to deal with it, and that damage means something. As the Soul going to come through. It is Cloud Soul, and it's just secured. Follow up onto the Gwen in the top lane. Solar Flare doesn't connect. And we don't get a fight, but hey, Suiting a pinging bot. They're going to try and do something.
Suning are pretty much out macroing RNG at this point in time, where they're just forcing them into position where they're able to get on waves first and then crashing those waves into turret, taking down structures, and it's nice to see. Also for Suning, and I think it's something a lot of LPL teams do well in general compared to when I watch other regions, is they play off their flanks so well. Xiaohu gonna be engaged on, but nothing forced out of him.
Watch Bin do his combo again. I mean, onto Gala, there's half his health. He's full items here, Lyric. And Bin, even when he jumps on someone like Xiaohu, it's a big deal. So I'm waiting for those boots to get sold.
At the beginning of the season, when people still like had this misconception about Jayce like falling off hard in late game, it's like, no, a lot of these new items, Serelda's Grudge, all of it, you do so much damage when you're able to get off this poke.
And you're against a comp. We're not in a tank meta, right? There's no Malphite, there's no Sejuani, there's no who else am I missing as a tank? I mean, it's like a Maokai frontline. The tankiest person on the team right now, I wouldn't even say it's Nautilus. I'd say it's probably way on Lee Sin. It's the biggest bruiser, the person with the most HP. So you can rip through the resistances of RNG. And Jayce, again, I want to say, I want to see the boots sold. He got rid of them for a second, but then he undid it. Must be a little bit off the final item. What would you do? Umbral Glaive, I guess, in this late game?
You know, we are so many hours into this LPL. I'm not gonna predict Bin's decision making. We're gonna live vicariously through Bin. Oh, actually, I mean, we're not gonna vicariously live through Bin, because if we were doing that, we would be helping make decisions. So yeah, I don't know. Do as he pleases.
I mean, I just want action. I just want something. It's still 14 kills. We've been stuck at 14 kills for 20 minutes straight almost. And you were talking about longest games. We actually had one recently. I don't think it was over in the LCK. And I think I wasn't casting on the day, but I know that we went over 62, 63, no, 70 minutes. So, and it was nuts.
Our longest game in the LPL so far is 53 minutes and 43 seconds.
Is that the split? Okay.
TT versus LNG.
Oh, God. Well, this is close. I mean, Suning just keep taking objectives, but we're at the point where gold doesn't really matter for anyone but the supports. RNG have been so defensive for so long, and Xiaohu just keeps clearing waves.
And I think, right, RNG have been trying so long to bring Wei in on a flank. That's like been their goal almost every time. Get Wei on the flank, find that kick, set up for a shockwave, set up for the burst. They haven't been able to do it, and they haven't been able to get past the big front line that is SofM. And then what happens every time, right, is that RNG are like, damn, we can't get past SofM, and then the whole time you're just seeing, you know, W's come out from Jhin or accelerated shock blast come out from Jayce, and the members of RNG are just getting whittled too low, and then they just have to run away.
And every single time that Bin throws out a shock blast, I hold my breath. I think this is going to be the one that hurts RNG a little bit more on people like Gala, people like Cryin. Baron's up. Ward on the back of the pit denied. Wei's there. Are we ready for Baron number 3 or 4? I cannot remember.
No, we're not. We're ready for Suning to try to find a pick, and they're going to get the engaged. Hysterics are going to go in, and they're going to fight.
Gala flash,
oh, no, they're not.
And they're out. Shock blast over to Xiaohu, TP'd in. There are now only 2 TPs in the game, and they're both on top of Suning. As RNG come on in, they back away. Baron again, they'll do the dance. Holy hell.
Let's bring context back into this game. This is a world finalist versus the recent MSI champion.
Well, definitely doesn't feel like it, does it? Good flash away in the end from Angel. Deadly Flourish down there. Chains of Corruption are now off the cooldown for Gala. Xiaohu looking for an angle once again. Suning running through mid. Oh my God.
I feel like we've seen this once or twice before this game.
All right, flank from Xiaohu. Let's go. What's the decision? Wei and Ming say no. Shockwave misses.
Oh my God.
Xiaohu's in the back.
Flop.
Xiaohu's in the back. Ming misses. All right, ladies and gentlemen, SofM hit with a Sonic Wave. Can I get a Sonic Wave? Can I get a Resonating Strike? SofM goes on in. Hits, wind becomes lightning. Solar Flare, flash away. RNG backing away. Curtain call. Oh my God. Somebody help us. Somebody help us, please. I'll give you my address.
No.
I don't care. Send me Uber Eats.
Don't worry, Hysterics. Suning are doing Baron. They forced out a bunch of summoners and ultimates from the side of RNG. Shockwave completely whipped. Suning have nothing to worry about. Now we have a Baron. Now we know Suning are going to group up towards top side, you would think, but Elder's up in 1 minute, so I actually don't know how soon you're going to weigh wanting to play towards mid or bot side or just wanting to go break up the last tower. The point is, they have Baron. They're in a place now. They can take a big wave. They can siege in front of Nexus turrets. Accelerated shock blast is going to hit someone. They're going to be half HP, and then we're going to be able to find the win for Suning, which is actually unexpected to me.
Isn't it funny is, SofM's got a knock up. Is there enough damage? He's taken some himself. They're backing away. This is the fight. Change corruption onto on. Shockwave hits him again. He's taking the wild growth. Throws a re-engage. Finally, we get some blood. We waited 15 bloody minutes. But Suning, somebody died. As Huanfeng doing the backline. Bin as well. RNG backing off as Bin gets taken down. Gala's doing so much poke damage. But now Ming drops. Cryin's next on the menu. Gala takes the final shot. And SofM knows that he's in the middle of the rest of his team. Huanfeng flashing forward. Ladies and gentlemen, forget T1. We're not doing it here today. We're not waiting 20 minutes. Suning will put an end to the series, keep the MSI champions down on the ground of the LPL, and in 50 minutes, our brains stayed inside our skull, if only just.
You know, we were like 2 minutes and 58 seconds off from being the longest game in LPL this split.
I'm glad.
2 minutes, 58 seconds.
We didn't win it. I'm so glad. Look, Cast is always meant to be impartial or whatever, but I tell you what, that game, this series, Lyric, this was a doozy. This was like a Rogue Warriors versus RNG. But that actually had a lot more blood, and it was just chaotic as hell in what was it, 2020 spring or summer? It was just,
I mean,
that was a true doozy.
The thing about this is, we come into today, we're like, okay, RNG doesn't feel like a bottom team, and then these teams come out and give us like this kind of series, and you're like, okay, maybe these teams are actually, you know, where they should be, right? Maybe these teams do have deeper rooted issues. RNG picked up one game just off the fact that Suning tried out SofM support and View in the jungle, or this could have been a 2-0 for the side of Suning. So, yeah, very disappointing performance from RNG, especially from Cryin. You go against the grain. You say, hey, we don't care about the meta. We're gonna put him on comfort, and then you get to a point where he's really the man that has to influence the game, right? Because you went take Xin Zhao, which was actually able to do a ton of work in that late game. You have the Lulu, so Gala's not going to be able to deal much damage. And it's like, okay, can you find an angle for the shockwave? He was never able to do it. RNG were never able to do it. Part of that does go as praise to Suning, because I think especially the way they played around flank angles, we saw so many times them like zoning way off and being very conscious in like the vision control that they had to never let that happen. But it still felt like there were probably so many opportunities where RNG could have tried to take it, try to make it work, but they were always waiting for that one perfect opportunity. It never came. It allowed Jayce to deal so much damage to you, and then you can see they got extremely pressured, and that's where we saw moments like when he uses the ultimate and it completely whiffs.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I think Cryin, when he's doing that much damage and we don't see any action, we don't see the Orianna at that late game point do anything, it's sad. And you're right, the whiff as well. So many whiffs. It just, I'm kind of molding after that as well. I feel my hairline going receding and all over the place. But yeah, a fun way, that was a way to finish the night. You know, that really was. And game one.
You know what? Suning picked up a W. Suning fans, who cares how it happened? Just be happy. It gives you time to work on your issues. It gives you time to like move on to your next matchup, which, you know what? We can see who that actually is. It is OMG. That one's actually a very interesting matchup where you get to see someone like Angel, who's been performing quite well this split, go up against Cream. So that's what you're looking forward to if you're a Suning fan. On the side of RNG though, your next matchup is against LGD. So things actually only get harder for you than they were today. Yes, LGD are looking pretty good. And then there's IG, and you and I are casting IG next week. I asked specifically for RNG IG because I said, oh, RNG will play up, IG will play up. IG looked good in their last series, and for that RNG IG series, it will be the Shy, from what we understand. But if RNG play like this, oh god, I'm gonna be scared. I love how you always find the angle to pivot to talking about IG. True Hysterics fashion, but yeah, this game did actually happen, so we do get the graph of it once again, as Bin, of course, did the most damage, and we highlighted this this match pretty much became a point of who can do more, Bin or Gala. Bin always finding the better end of those trades. Also with the fact that RNG didn't have anyone who was a true tank, right? Ming was working his way there, but you just don't have enough gold to get there, to where SofM went full armor, went full tank. No one was able to deal with them. Had the MR there as well, you know, early bought the Spirit Visage. So yeah, it was quite the nuisance. And now I would ask you, so Hysterics, you know, for something to talk about, who do you think gets MVP? But we both know it's going to be Bin.
It's going to be Bin.
You know, at some point we will congratulate Bin on being the MVP, as he did a great job, despite kind of running into Xiaohu's tower at level 4.
That was a while ago, though, wasn't it? I mean, that was 40 minutes before the end of that game.
That was like 45 minutes ago.
That was so long ago. Oh, God. Bin will get MVP after kind of running it down a bit. Oh, my Lord. Well, that's the dichotomy of a long League of Legends game, isn't it? You can look bad early, but if you recover, if you farm up and you're able to get somewhere, because he did play better, then, you know,